I use this analogy of IPO being the wedding and being a public company. I think that analogy fits perfectly, and I'll explain how, right? Yeah. So, a VC funded company is like a bachelor who can party and have fun, and you can do a lot of things, right? A public company is like, at some point, we realize that, okay, I've had a great life as a bachelor. Now it's time to settle down, become responsible, start a family, and then you go into marriage, right? So, now jokes apart, being a public company and being in marriage, the responsibility is an important thing, right? There can be great things accomplished in a family or in a public company when you understand that responsibility. Day to day, you may have good times, you may have bad times. All of us go through that, right? Like it's not really, I don't think anybody who's been in marriage can say I've had every day of my life was bliss, right? Yeah. So I think public companies like that. So the narrative, a lot of people tend to focus on only the hardship part of it. The true rewards of being a public company comes from the learnings. And every quarter, we learn so much by actually listening to investors on how they are looking at the company outside in. And what does that mean? It actually helps us prioritize really what is important for the company over the long term also. Yeah. So, when you, this is again like when you look at it from the surface, you only focus on the general narrative. Narrative. Yes, being a public company requires a lot more governance, a lot more transparency and compliance. So there is a lot of work to be done. But that is the world standard, right? So if you really look at truly the companies that have created massive wealth creation for so many people, like you take the Microsofts and the Amazons and the Googles of the world, if that is the gold standard, why are people doing it, right? See, if the general narrative is a public company is hard, why do you want to do that? Then there should be no public company. That's right. Who are the companies that we... So then you have to ask the question, why are smart people doing it again and again and again? Yeah. So number one, that's the only way to create a massive wealth creating machine for decades, right? Right. If you're a private company with... the journey stops. Then it stops. So that is number one. Number two is, as the company scales, right? And I have an analogy with fitness also, right? See, when you are eating, you have unhealthy eating habits, right? And you're not paying attention to what you're eating, you end up becoming unhealthy, right? And that analogy can happen to many VC funded startups because you're loading a lot of money and you're spending a lot of money without knowing what you're getting for it. So you actually end up being very unhealthy, right? The number one responsibility for a public company CEO is capital allocation. So every quarter, and every year, you have to review, hey, how is the capital being used? Where am I deploying it and what am I getting for it? What are the best places where I can actually invest more and grow faster? What are some of the places that I should probably get out of? There may be examples of maybe sometimes we have to we may take bad calls because we didn't understand the true long-term potential thing, but mostly this is good. Like in fitness, right? Yeah. If you cut your carbs, you can become fit. If you exercise daily. So I think that is very, very true. If you really, and my transformation in the last 2 years, 2.5 years as a public company CEO was, when I started looking at it as a learning opportunity, because I fundamentally believe when smart people are doing something, I want to understand why are they doing it.